Namaste. My session is on arguments in favor of MNCs and argument against the multinational corporation या MNCs. The supporter of MNCs advance the following argument as presented by the Columbus and Wolf in support of the good and active role of multinational corporations. Multinational corporation as huge economic combines have the capacity, know-how and the wisdom to treat the world as a single economic unit and to combine the factor of production for maximum efficiency and productivity. Multinational corporation have the ability to produce more and better products at lower prices, thereby satisfying the progressively rising global demands for these products. The MNCs are powerful agents of world modernization, especially among the less developed countries. These are source of flow of goods, technology, know-how, and capital from the developing world. In their host countries, MNCs created new jobs, introduced advanced technologies, and trained local manpower in the art and science of modern management. MNCs have proved to be agents of increasing international independence, which in turn has been compelling integration of the world into an international community conscious of and committed to internationalism. The organization and working of European Parliament is an indicator of the good results of the interdependency can produce and MNCs have played and are playing a big role in making the world independent. The supporters of the MNCs concludes these are ushering in a new golden era of peace and plenty. And that global corporations are mankind best hope for producing and distributing the riches of the earth. So these are the arguments. Now arguments against MNCs, like the organized labor unions regard MNC as agents of unemployment. Since these moves their plans to a race of cheap labor. Next, since multinational labor unions have not kept pace with the multinational management, the MNCs can become more resistant to strike at the expense of general working conditions and compensation. Then the organized labor union insists the MNCs very often ignore and harm the interest of national industries in the environment of cutthroat foreign competitions. MNC flood the market with goods produced by the slave labor in banana republics. Then the Muller reject the thesis, and rightly so, that MNCs are fundamental agents of the world peace and progress. They hold that, on the contrary, the present and the projected strategies on global corporations offer little hope for solving the problems of mass starvation, mass unemployment, and gross inequality. MNCs are not only perpetuating the gap between the rich and the poor countries, but also increasing it in a big way of securing huge profits from the developing countries and transferring these to the parent developed countries. MNCs are agents of new colonial control of the rich over the poor countries. The former use this anti-profit organization to influence the economies and policies of the latter. Multinational corporations have paid little attention to the urgent human, social, ecological, and psychological needs. These breed economic inequalities, environmental pollutions, and psychological alienations. These concentrate solely on their profits and have little regard for the human needs and living conditions. They are almost as much as even more and exploitative than the traditional zamindars and the jagirdars. Next, multinational corporations are harmful both for their host and the home countries, and these are colonizing poor countries and progressively weakening and destabilizing the rich countries, and while becoming the gargantums themselves, according to Muller and the Burnett. So these have in fact been engaged in an invention of the economies and culture of the third world country. Thus, there are several strong and solid arguments against the role that MNC have been playing as a non-state profit-making business and industrial. leviathans in the world. The host nation believe that the foreign owners will subordinate the interest of the host nation to their own international interest, and they will be less amenable than local owners to the host government views. To sum up, we can say that the supporter of the MNCs regard these are the instrument of economic, industrial and technological development which are serving both the developed and developing countries. And as such, they hold that the need is to properly channelize the resources of these international giants for the securing a world free from war, underdeveloped and poverty. So you can say that both the supporters and the critics of MNCs should realize that since these have already developed as powerful non-state actors, every attempt should be made to harness these for serving as instruments of international peace, security and development, and these should be prevented from harming the world, both the developed and developing. For this, it is essential to end their present status as instruments operating outside national and international legal and political jurisdiction. All the nation states must establish national and transnational institutions capable of controlling these economic giants like the MNCs, and failure to move in this direction can surely make the MNC menace bigger and dangerous in the 21st century.